Margaret Cho just exposed Ellen, and it's worse than we thought. What happens when the Queen of Be Kind turns out to be anything but? Comedian Margaret Cho just broke decades of silence with a bombshell. Ellen DeGeneres, the face of daytime niceness, was weird and not nice to her for most of her career. And this isn't hearsay. This is from someone who opened for Ellen in the 1980s. Not only did Ellen allegedly snub her later in life, but she pretended not to know her on national television, despite years of shared comedy roots. That's not just cold, it's calculated. So let's dig in. How does a comedian who built an empire on laughter end up being called out for being anything but nice? Welcome back to our channel. Here I am, your host. Today we were going to break down how comedian Margaret Cho just exposed Ellen, and it is worse than we thought. You guys ready? Let's take a look. Story is so juicy you'll need to stay till the end. Episode 1. The Rise of Ellen. Ellen DeGeneres burst onto the scene in the early 90s with a string of hit stand-up specials that showcased her observational wit and laid-back delivery. But beyond the punchlines, something else was brewing. Rumors of a secret romance. Ellen, closeted and cautious, carefully navigated the entertainment industry, hiding her true self from the glare of publicity. Rumors swirled around her friendship with actress Anne Heche, intensifying when the two were spotted at a restaurant in Los Angeles. Then came the infamous sitcom Ellen, which tackled groundbreaking territory by featuring a lesbian relationship. But it was a different story behind the scenes. Despite the show's success, network interference and pressure from sponsors forced Ellen to come out publicly. In a New York Times cover story, she revealed, "The only thing that was real to me was my life." This pivotal moment marked a shift, establishing Ellen as a trailblazer for LGBTQ representation in Hollywood. Yet little did the world know that this journey of authenticity was far from smooth sailing. Episode 2. Margaret Cho's Ascent. Margaret Cho, a trailblazing force in comedy, has been shattering barriers since her stand-up debut. Her fearless approach to tackling controversial topics and pushing comedic boundaries made her a force to be reckoned with. But behind the roaring laughter, there was a cost. Cho became notorious for offending just about everyone, which landed her in hot water with audiences and critics alike. She recalls, "I started getting death threats and my phone was ringing off the hook with people saying, 'You won't last a week in Vegas, people will kill you.'" Undeterred, she persevered, evolving into one of the most successful Asian American comedians in history. While her raw talent and unapologetic style garnered her a devoted following, it also painted a target on her back, exposing her to a darker side of the entertainment industry. Episode 3. The Unexpected Connection. In the bustling world of stand-up comedy, paths can unexpectedly converge. And in the late 80s, Margaret Cho found herself sharing the stage with none other than Ellen DeGeneres. Fate had brought them together, forging an unlikely bond as they navigated the male-dominated circuit. But as the years rolled on, their careers took different trajectories, leading to a surprising twist. Ellen's star began to soar, while Margaret's was met with growing controversy. Soon, their paths diverged dramatically. Ellen entered the realm of daytime talk shows, becoming the epitome of wholesome entertainment. Meanwhile, Margaret remained a daring voice in stand-up, unafraid to tackle the most contentious issues. Their styles and audiences became worlds apart, leaving many to wonder how their connection might have evolved. Episode 4. A Chance Encounter. As fate would have it, several years after their paths diverged, Margaret Cho and Ellen DeGeneres found themselves in the same room once again. But this time the atmosphere was charged with an unexpected tension. Ellen, now a bona fide superstar, was hosting the prestigious MTV Video Music Awards, marking a significant moment in her career. Little did she know that this night would be overshadowed by a surprising confrontation. When Ellen learned that Margaret Cho was in the audience, she decided to make a grand gesture. Walking over to Cho, she warmly greeted her, breaking into a broad smile and exclaiming, "Hey, I know you." The encounter left many wondering, had their past connection resurfaced, or was it just a fleeting moment of recognition? But as the night wore on, it became clear that this chance meeting was far from ordinary. Ellen's seemingly innocuous comment would echo long after the camera stopped rolling, sparking a wave of speculation and gossip. With each passing moment, the weight of their shared history hung heavy in the air, setting the stage for a dramatic revelation. Episode 5. Margaret's Big Break. As fate would have it, Margaret Cho's career took a monumental leap forward when she was invited to be the opening act for Ellen, a DeGeneres stand-up special. This was her big chance to shine on a national stage and showcase her unique brand of comedy to a wider audience. However, as the spotlight focused on her, memories of their past encounter resurfaced, creating an unexpected twist in their relationship. Suddenly, the dynamics shifted and Margaret found herself caught in a web of emotions, balancing excitement for her own success with the weight of their shared history. As the cheers of the crowd echoed through the theater, Margaret couldn't help but wonder, would Ellen's seemingly innocuous comment become a defining moment in her career, or would it fade into the annals of time? Only time would tell. Episode 6. The Cold Shoulder. But as the years passed, Margaret noticed a disturbing trend. Ellen seemed to have conveniently erased any mention of their past, acting as if their paths had never crossed before. Time and again, Ellen would introduce herself to new audiences as a solo act, leaving no trace of their shared history. It was as if their encounter had never happened. This deliberate erasure stung Margaret deeply, making her question their connection. Was it all in her head, or was Ellen actively trying to hide their past together? This puzzling behavior created a rift between them, leaving Margaret confused and yearning for answers. Episode 7. Bowie's Praise, Erogenous Disapproval. Again, a shocking turn of events. Rock legend David Bowie unexpectedly praised Margaret Cho's bold choice of a Chinese emperor costume at his concert. He went out of his way to shower her with compliments, expressing his admiration for her unique style. But what happened next left her stunned. During a taping of the Ellen DeGeneres show, Bowie recounted their encounter, showering Margaret with praise and labeling her a star. However, in a puzzling move, producers cut his complimentary comments from the final broadcast, leaving viewers in the dark about their connection. This puzzling decision raised eyebrows and sparked a wave of speculation. Was it a simple editing choice, or a deliberate attempt to erase Margaret from Ellen's narrative? As whispers spread behind the scenes, Margaret couldn't help but wonder, why was her presence being erased from Ellen's story? Episode 8. A shocking revelation. Years later, when Margaret Cho appeared as a guest on the Ellen DeGeneres show, she was in for a rude awakening. Ellen, seemingly oblivious to their past encounter, acted as if they'd never met, leaving Margaret stunned and questioning their connection. To make matters worse, Ellen's attempt at a playful introduction left a bitter taste in Margaret's mouth. Ellen's dismissive attitude shattered any lingering doubts, confirming that their relationship had been severed. With a heavy heart, Margaret realized that she had been erased from Ellen's life, left with nothing but questions and a sense of betrayal. Episode 9. A Calculated Move. As Margaret Cho embarked on her journey to uncover the truth behind Ellen's behavior, she uncovered a pattern of subtle jabs aimed at diminishing her presence. From awkward introductions to cutting remarks, Ellen seemed determined to marginalize her, making it clear that she was unwelcome in her circle. Each interaction chipped away at Margaret's confidence, leaving her questioning her value in the industry. As the pieces of the puzzle came together, Margaret realized that Ellen's actions were no coincidence. It was a deliberate attempt to sideline her, erasing any trace of their shared history. With a growing sense of urgency, she resolved to confront Ellen, seeking answers for the mistreatment she had endured. Episode 10. A Legacy of Erasure. Beyond Margaret's personal experience, Ellen's actions reflect a broader pattern of behavior, raising questions about the true extent of her influence. By erasing Margaret from her narrative, Ellen solidified her position as the reigning queen of daytime TV while simultaneously casting Margaret in the shadows. This power play highlights the stark realities of the entertainment industry, where favoritism and social standing often overshadow talent and hard work. As the curtain falls on this chapter, we are left contemplating the lasting impact of Ellen's choices and the complex dynamics that shape the world of celebrity. And with that, it's a wrap. But before we go, we want to hear from you. What do you think of Elon's behavior towards Margaret Cho? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your voice matters. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe for more insightful content. Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you in the next episode.